About 4 months ago, I made this really weird mistake, and I want to protect you guys from possibly making the same mistake I did with this. What I've done up until this point is I just buy these arrows from the store, shoot them out the box, not really do much to them other than put a broadhead on there, and we're ready for the woods. But 4 months ago, I decided to try something new. I decided that I would buy my own fletchings and try to fletch my own arrows, which is super fun, by the way, except that I made the crucial mistake of not doing my research before fletching my arrows. Other than a pretty basic tutorial on how to use a Bitzenberger, I had no idea what I was doing. The real mistake was that I put the wrong type of fletching on my arrow. After shooting my arrows and realizing how weirdly inaccurate and inconsistent my arrows were shooting, I decided to do a little bit more research and figure out what was going on. So when it comes to fletchings, there's three options. There's an offset, a helical, and a straight fletch. Straight fletch is basically what you get out of a box of arrows. You're gonna get some vanes that have no curve, no bend. They're just straight out the box. An offset is just a straight fletch at an angle that helps steer the arrow a little bit better. The third option is a helical, which is an actual curve to the fletchings. And for the offset and the helical, there's both left and right offset or helical. And as you probably guessed, the right or left helical or offset helps guide the arrow in one of those two directions, right? And I didn't know this, so when I fletched my arrows, I just slapped the fletchings into the Bitzenberger and fletched them. Little did I know that the Bitzenberger was set to a right offset. What the right offset did is it changed the consistency of my groupings because I didn't know which way my arrow was naturally clocking out of the bow. All this to say, guys, it mainly affected the consistency of my groupings, and that also led to my confidence taking a major hit during the hunting season, which is never good. Now that we're all caught up with the problem, we're gonna try and fix this problem. So to do that, I need to bare shaft tune my arrows. And that might sound daunting, I know, it kind of scared me too. But all it is taking the fletchings off, make sure it's just the bare shaft and the field point, and we're gonna see which way the arrow naturally clocks or spins as it exits the bow. All right, so here's my bow. It's the Matthews VXR. I've got a video about this bow somewhere up here. I don't really know, to be honest. But this is my bow. It's got a bowstring on it. And this bowstring is gonna help us figure out how to predict which way the arrow should clock. And then we're gonna test it and just confirm which way the arrow is clocking. So on a compound bow and most traditional bowstrings, they have a twist, right? And that twist actually plays a huge part in how the arrow spins as it comes out of the bow and stabilizes the arrow. So to predict how the arrow is gonna naturally clock, we're gonna take a look at the string. So the bowstring, if you look from the top down, this bowstring actually has a counterclockwise twist. So when I look at it like this, you can see that the string twists in a counterclockwise. I don't know how this is translating to the camera, but it's counterclockwise when I look at it this way. From this way, it would be counterclockwise, right? And so what that means is the counterclockwise twist in the string is going to be put into clockwise motion in the arrow, meaning it turns to the right. And I will be honest, I'm a beginner at this, so I could be way wrong. But we're gonna find out. I'm telling you, the best way to figure this out, just go and do it. Shoot the bow for yourself. A video can only teach you so much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my arrow, take the fletchings off, and then we're gonna shoot just at 3 or 4 feet away from the target. Super easy. And we're just gonna see which way the arrow naturally spins as it comes out of the bow. So here's my poor fletching job. This one actually wasn't that bad. It could have been better though. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and take these off. So sad. So now I've got my bare shaft right here, and I'm just gonna shoot this, and I'm gonna pay careful attention to which way the nock is twisted when it's in the target right after I shoot it. Oh, interesting, interesting. And this could be just an over-exaggeration, but if you look over here at the nock, I don't know what the best way to see, it actually went from vertical. It either rotated like this all the way to there, or it twisted this way like that. And I'm really unsure which way it twisted. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stand a little bit closer and see if we can get that rotation just a tiny bit. And if it is still this way, then my prediction was wrong and my arrow naturally still clocks to the left, counterclockwise. So it looks like my arrow is still clocking to the left, counterclockwise. Oh, that is so interesting. So I shot basically right next to the target, and as you can see, it's got that slight rotation counterclockwise. It's really hard to see, I'm sorry. All right, so I shot it with my straight fletched arrow here, just to make it a little easier to understand. So I shot it from about 4 feet away, right? And what it's doing, as you can see, how I have it knocked is vertically with the white one up, right? So when it is coming out of the bow and as it hits the target, as you can see, it's turning this way, right? Which is a left clock. So that goes against my prediction, but I'm okay with that because, to be honest, it makes a little bit more sense if the rotation of the string is the same as the rotation that the arrow feels. I'll be honest, I don't really know the physics behind that. I'm sure there's some transfer of rotation that I'm missing, but I'm just a hunter, so. Now that I understand which way my arrow naturally spins, that's gonna help me pick what kind of fletching, offset, or helical I want to use. So to do the fletchings, I bought this super sick tool, except I realized this is not the right one. So I gotta go return this and see if I can find the right tool. Here's our tool. Picked it up, actually I ordered it a while ago and it just came in the mail today. So let's unbox it. There it is. This tool right here is gonna be super helpful because it allows us to fletch 3 times as fast because it does them all 3 at once. All right, so we have our tool. We've got our 3 fletchings here. So all we do is we make sure that this is popped out like that. Then we can put our arrow in here and there's a little notch that helps us. There it is. You just kind of have to feel for it, make sure it's in the right position. And then we're gonna put our glue on the fletchings. You put them in here like this. And then once we put glue on each of these fletchings, all you gotta do, pop it out like this, close it up. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna align each of those fletchings with a perfect left helical. Then of course, after it's closed, you're gonna take your cap, and you're gonna slide it over top of the arrow, put it on, and that keeps a nice constant pressure, and that's really gonna help out while this is curing. So I'm gonna shoot, there's dirt on the camera. Sorry about that. Hope you enjoyed that. So we're gonna shoot, I've got my helical here. So we're just gonna shoot it a couple more times to check out the consistency. That's a pretty good shot, I'd say. It looks pretty sick. So that's dead center of the target, which is exactly what we want. So more of this. All right, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Hopefully you know what not to do when trying to fletch your arrows for the first time. And I hope you learned something about fletching arrows and arrow clocking. We'll see you in the next episode.